Hey guys, how are we today? Hope we're all having a lovely day. For today's video, I thought I would do a follow-up on my previous video regarding if I could only keep 10-ish lipsticks or lip products. Although with today's video, I'm focusing on my highlighters. Now, because I don't have too many, so when I say too many, I mean in regards to like, I don't have as many as I would lip products, so I've got maybe 30 or so lip products. I think I only have 13 highlighters, roughly, maybe 15, maybe a little bit less, I can't quite recall. So I figured I'd do 5. And I have to say, trying to choose 5 highlighters out of all of the ones that I have was actually a lot more difficult than I thought. So I do have my favorite brands and I do have my favorite formulas, although even within brands that, you know, I love some from one brand, but I don't particularly like others. I'm not saying that I don't like them, but if I could only keep 5, I'm not keeping all 5 from the same brand. So I'm going to start from number 5 and work my way up to number 1, and there will be an honourable mention for a highlighting non-highlighter item. I don't know, that probably makes no sense. So in position 4, number 4 and 5, they were honestly the most difficult to choose. So number 1 and number 2 were the absolute easiest. Number 3, I was like, I suppose, yeah, I could keep it. Honestly, out of everything that I own, I have 2 that I'm like, yeah, I could absolutely keep these 2 and nothing else, and I would be fine. I could start all over again as long as I had these 2, or if heaven forbid I were to lose everything, I would go out buy these 2 right away. Maybe buy all of the others again eventually. It just depends. So number 5 was actually a toss-up between 2 items in my Revolution Freedom Pro Highlight palette. So I mentioned this palette in a previous video. I think it might have been on the items that I know I wouldn't buy these type of things again. And it is because it's mainly cream highlighters. I'm going to try and turn that down a little bit just so you can see the colour differences, although now you probably can't see me that well. So the 3 along each side, so both left and rights, are all creams. The 2 in the middle are the powders, and they were the ones that I was tossing up between. So you can kind of see the difference with the lights turned down, that this one is more of a, I don't want to say peach, it's not quite peach, it's definitely not pink, but like a nudie, not quite yellow, I'm gonna have to say peach, a nudie, not quite yellowy peach colour, and the one down the bottom is white. Now I have actually chosen the white one, and I do have a couple of white-ish and white highlighters, but this one honestly looks the best on me. I love the formula. It's not dry. It is a little crumbly and powdery, but it's still firm. So you can see there's no fallout around there. Like aside from the tiniest little speck there where my finger accidentally caught on the way out. And I'm going to pop it on here. But it's just the most beautiful crystal white. You know, there's no undertone in it. It's just absolutely beautiful. It goes on, it blends out really well. So I do have a little bit of a tan on my arms, which you probably can't see very well because I am usually pretty fair. But you can see against the white of my underarm, I will extend that along there. So even there, you can see it against the very whitest part of my arm, but you can see it on this side where I am a little bit tan as well. And it does have a little tiny bit of like a silver shift to it. I don't think it's got any glitter in it, but I think it's just because it's so white and clean that it looks like it does. And I do like it for that reason. So it's when I want something that's, you know, not going to fight with the makeup that I already have. It's not going to fight with, you know, my blush, my natural skin tones. It'll look good no matter what kind of eye color I wear. And that was why I did pick that one. I do quite like the peachy one as well, but if I had to choose between the two of them, I would probably choose the white, because I think I already have a couple of peachy other ones in here. I can't quite remember. I've just spent about 20 minutes swatching all of them again and again and again, and then narrowing down each time and wiping my arm off. So number 4 actually surprised me that I would pick two that are fairly similar for my bottom 2 items. So the next one, number 4, is the Revolution Strobe Highlighter in Luna. And sorry, the lights are really reflecting there on that. You can see that this one is almost a silvery white as well. And when I first got this, I actually thought that it was a dupe for a sample that I'd gotten of a NARS, I think it was Copacabana, because they both seem to be just very white, very neutral, very pale. But when you swatch this one, I do love how it has the ripple effect, but with this one, there is a lot of like crumbliness in between all the swirls. And I'm going to swatch this one right here next to it. So you can see it's the same as number 5. That they both look very white, they both look very crystalline, but when you compare them up close, this one does have a little bit more of a bluey grey shift, which I didn't really notice until I compared it to my other white highlighters. So until I compared it to the one that was in the palette and to another one that I have received, I didn't realise how pale the differences are in between all the light ones as well. But I do still like it. Like it is one of my favorites. I think I only paid like $2 for this when it was on sale. And it's just such a big pan that it's absolutely worth it to me. But I do need to be careful what I wear this with. If I wear it with blue eyeshadow, it can really bring out the blue. And if I wear it with, you know, depending on the other makeups that I am wearing, if I wear it with an orangey coloured blush, it looks a little bit odd. But I do still like it, and I do think it is stunning. So you can see even on the whitest part of my arm, it does still stand out. Like it's not like it's one of those ones that it just matches or is slightly darker than my skin tone. And when it's on the face, because my face is a little bit more tanned than that part of my arm, it's not any problem. So number 3, I actually debated whether or not to put this in at all as well. Just because I have 2 of these highlighters by the same company, and I do prefer the other one to this. To start with, I had thought that when I bought both of them, that this was the one I was going to love the most because everybody raves about it. Like, this is the one. You mention this company and highlighter, and they think of this colour, and it's the Becca Champagne Pop. What's that called? Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed in Champagne Pop. And I do like it. When I swatched it in Sephora, I quite liked it, and I quite liked the other one that I do have as well. I think that the lighting is very different in there, which does make it so difficult to gauge things. This is only the small travel sample size as well that I got in a box, but you can see even in the pan there, it's very yellowy, champagne-y kind of colour. Let me just clean off my hand. Just going to give it a swatch there. Okay, and we can see there that it is a very, I don't know why the camera doesn't like picking up the lights sometimes, mainly when I'm flashing highlighters at the camera. The lighting goes real weird. So you can see there, as the light's actually going in and out, it is helping. So it does look very nice and shiny there on my skin, but you can see it is darker than my skin tone. And when I actually pop that around a little bit further to where I already am tanned, yes, it does provide a highlight on the tan part. So when it's on my face, it will provide a bit of a highlight, but it is a lot more yellow than I would have liked. If I'd have had like all of my other highlighters there with me in store, comparing them all side by side and mainly comparing my two favorites in particular, I probably wouldn't have gotten that. I probably would have passed. I do still love it. I love the formula. It goes on so smoothly, but you can see that like in winter, when I don't have any tan at all, and when the rest of my face looks like this, it's going to be one of those ones that you can see the difference, and when the highlighter will actually look darker than my skin. So this will be the one that I need to save for when I do have a tan, which I don't mind. It's so small that, and that's one of the things I love about majority of the highlighters that I have chosen, they are so small, except for the Revolution one, that I probably will use it up. I'll probably get through it. Like, it's not going to be one of the ones that I have to throw out because it gets really old. The next one, I love it. I didn't expect to love it. I thought I would love Champagne Pop more, and it's the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Moonstone. So this one is fairly similar. I'm going to use a different finger because that one's starting to get real grotty even though I'm wiping it off. And you can see it's just a couple of shades lighter. And I think I prefer that more. I'm actually going to go back and re-swatch that up the top part of my arm as well where it's tanned. Really bad swatching today. But I think that's more my, you know, your skin but better. Your skin but give it a bit of a glow. And they are fairly different. So you can definitely see the difference between all four of these. So this is the very white one. This has the blue undertone. This is the Champagne Pop where it's more peachy and a bit darker. And this is the yellow based. Oh, I wouldn't even say yellow based, but just, you know, fairly light. Although it is yellow. When you look at it next to my skin, yes, it does look yellow. Around there where I have a tan, it looks neutral. But on that side, it does look yellow compared to the other ones. And it's same as the other one. Because of the size of it, I'll get through it. I love it. I'm going to do my honourable mention now, because otherwise I'm going to get so excited about the first one that I'll probably forget. The honourable mention for the highlighters is actually not a highlighter, but an eyeshadow. So I have a palette here. It's the Revolution Reloaded palette in Authority. This was the one that came in the, I'm going to hold it up there to show you the right way it should be. This came in the Advent calendar, not last year, but the year before. And it's the shade out of this corner here. Now, I am planning on decluttering this palette, mainly because there are only a few shades that I use. This one here, these two browns over here, this one here sometimes, these two, and that one. So I'm in the process of trying to figure out what to do with them. I'm thinking possibly about taking a few of the more matte ones and making a Franken bronzer. I'm not sure. But the one in the corner that I popped out did actually break when it was coming out, so I have repressed it into a little pan. Now it is a little bit different now that I have repressed it. It's not quite as firm, and when it was in the pan it had the same kind of consistency as this one. It's not quite floury, but there's a little bit of stiffness to it. And there are a couple of the other little palettes like this that they have that have similar shades in them. I think there's one in here. So this is in the Affection palette. Now this one up the top is the one that matched closest to it. And I'm pretty sure that it is a baked formula, which I do love. And I do love the baked formulas in highlighters. I think that that's why I like the white one that was in the highlighting palette. But you can see now that I've repressed this, like, yes, it does have the same kind of tones in it, but with this one you can definitely see the darkers and the lighter ones. This one I'm not going to touch. I do love that one in there, and I use that one as an eyeshadow all the time. But this is the one that I had decluttered. Let's see if adjusting the lights will help. Not really, because it is still a fairly, you know, like a... Honestly, when I heard champagne pop, this is what I thought it was going to be. So let me just swatch this one here. Ooh, everything just fell everywhere. I'm going to actually do it down here. But you can see that is just the most beautiful, you know, pinky peachy highlight. That is just stunning. But you can see right when I hold my hand there, it's darker than my skin. So particularly up here, and you can notice it here a little bit with the champagne pop, it's darker than my skin. It's only lighter than my skin when I hold it up to the light. And that's even on the tanned part of my arm. If I bring that all the way around here, look at the difference there. So I do love that one, but there are only certain times when I can wear it. And most of the time I do wear it as a bit of a blush topper, where I don't mind if it has darkened my skin a little bit. But still, it was so close, like so close to being number 5. My number 1 highlighter is one that I first got onto from, where was it, the girls from Beauty News, when they destroyed one. And I'd heard of it, I'd been hearing of it for a long time, but it was very difficult to come by because in Australia, the brand that it is, we don't get everything that they stock or everything that they release. And usually if we do, it's a long time behind, like a couple of months behind at least. And by the time I finally got this or found this, I knew I had to get it, and it was fairly expensive. For the product that it is, that the prices in Australia are ridiculous. And it is the e.l.f. Moonlight Pearls Baked Highlighter. It's the one that I'm wearing today. You can see it's absolutely beautiful. I do love it. I have made quite a dip in that. You can see it there. There's a nice big crater in there. Sometimes, like, I'll just swipe my finger across it, run that across my face, use a brush. If I really, really want to amp it up a little bit, I tend to grab one of my brushes that has a little bit of texture on the end and just lightly brush it across there. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's swatch this baby, and it just feels so soft. Like, it's so soft and beautiful, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Where are we? Here we are here. So let's swipe that there. It's almost to the point where you may not necessarily be able to see it. So you can see it does blend in with my skin there, and it's just so beautiful that, like, it just provides the lightest kiss of highlight. Now, I love highlight. It's my one thing. Lipsticks and highlight. Give me a lipstick, a mascara, and a highlight, and that's it. I'm set. I can do a full face with that. I don't mind. And this one is my absolute favorite of all time. Now, when I bought this, I had to pay $12 for this, because that's just how much it is in Australia. I bought one for a friend recently at work. One of the shops was $12, and one of the other shops where I found it was $10. But still, I've heard that this in other countries costs like $2 or $3. I'm like, if I ever run out of this, whenever I've got any family overseas, I'm like, get me one of these. This is it. If I lost everything else, this would be the one that I go out and buy, and I could just happily wear it every day. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. Like, it's not too dark. Like, when I hold my arm like that, you can see the differences between them. So this is the eyeshadow, the one from the palette, the strobe highlighter with the blue undertones, Champagne Pop, Moonstone, and the e.l.f. one. You can see that here in this light, Moonstone is slightly lighter, but here straight on, they look exactly the same. So it is really good for when I want it to blend in with my skin as well. So when I wear Moonstone, even if you're looking at me from side on, you can still see it, even if the light's not hitting it. But with the e.l.f. one, it's just absolutely beautiful. And I did also forget to mention, with my honourable mention one, I'm actually wearing that as a lip topper today. So I think it's just the perfect amount of, you know, peachiness. And yeah, if I could only keep 6 highlighters, this would be it. If I could only keep 5, that's it. Same with 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's it, baby. I do have a few more of these videos planned. I was going to do one with blush, but I didn't really think that's fair because I really only own like maybe 8 blushes. So if you have any other ideas or any other videos you'd like to see, please feel free to comment down below. Let me know what your favorite highlighters are. I do love going in store and Sephora and Mecca and everywhere else and swatching highlighters. I would definitely be interested in trying some others. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to comment down below. But until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.